to the Project Podcast. I'm your host, Connor Lewis, and I'm joined by a very special guest, a man that I've been trying to track down for quite a while. Chris Arcuri. Chris, how are you today, man?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Nice to see you, dude. Doing great. Thank you for having me.
Dude, I'm so excited to talk to you. There's a lot to discuss. I think we should discuss this because this is going to come out on Friday, this podcast. I'm planning it out very intentionally because you're in
Awesome.
a movie that comes out on
Yes,
Friday.
sir. Yes, sir.
McCay, I'm very excited for what can you say? What can you tell us about Ella McCay? I'm sure that their press screenings are out and all that, but what can you tell us about him so far? I know you haven't seen it yet, but
Yeah. Well, Ella McCay is like a coming of age like type of story about a young woman played by Emma Mackey who is running for governor. She actually gets thrown into the position of playing a governor, and it's in this state that is. It's actually, I believe, it's a fake state as far as I'm aware, but they filmed it here in Providence, Rhode Island, and it's all featured in our state capital, and it's really cool. It's because it's 15 years since James L. Brooks, the director, has made a movie. It's been a while. This is his comeback, and a lot of people are looking forward to it. We got Jamie Lee Curtis, Woody Harrelson, and a real stacked cast. So it's going to be like a fun family comedy, and should be pretty cool.
and it's very cool to flex that whenever I see the ads, I can tell my mom that I know someone in the movie. It's very, very, very good flex. I'm curious to know what it's like working with James L. Brooks and all these veteran actors and this a very veteran director, one of the best directors of like the last 50 years. What are those experiences like, and what have you learned from those experiences on set?
Yeah, so to tell you the truth, when I grew up, I didn't see a lot of James L. Brooks's filmography. There was a lot of movies that I knew that he did that As Good as It Gets was probably one of the only ones I remember seeing as like a few years back with Jack Nicholson. So he has quite a history with working with The Simpsons and so many like iconic things that people love and cherish. So it's cool to see so much care go into this project because this has like been a passion of his for a while now. So it was really monumental to be a part of something that a lot of people are going to come to see experience in the theater. I definitely think he seemed like a really cool guy. I never had the privilege of talking to him, but I was pretty dang close to him while I was working on set, and a lot of people were like talking about him and just the way he held himself. He was very like mild mannered, seemed very respectful, like a genuine guy. Um, Very busy set. That was my first time technically working on a actual live movie set. So I had done one previous movie before, which was Good Burger 2, and this was my second movie, and I got to see what really was involved with like when it comes to filming a scene, how many different takes they had to do, the whole process of all the camera operators, the sound. It, it was wild. There was a lot going on, and there was 2 days on set that I worked, and I was very fortunate to get the opportunity, which I can go into it. I don't know how you want to set it up with how much you want me to say.
Yeah, if I want to hear as much as you can. Is he like David Fincher? Is he doing like 120 takes, or how's that going?
Dude, there's a lot of takes. I don't think I have done a film since that we did as many takes. They were doing this one scene. So I'll try to bring you back to how it all started. So I heard about the movie filming in the area. I had joined through Boston Casting. This was probably a couple months into my venture into starting to wanting to learn to be an actor. So I was looking for background work. When they said that they were casting in the area, I was submitting for my emails, trying to get selected for any part that I could. I didn't really know what the movie was, but I knew it was going to be a big deal. So we actually, me and my friend, who's also an actor, my friend Zachary Manders, he went to get an email from one of the casting directors, and they actually said, "Hey, we could use you for the scene for a set day." And I was like, "Dude, I didn't get no email like that. Could you forward me the email and of whoever sent that to you? And I'm gonna try to like shoot my shot and see if I can get on." So what basically ended up happening was I sent them an email back and I said, "Hi, my name's Christopher. I'm an actor from Rhode Island, yada yada yada, all the extra stuff about myself." And I was like, any opportunity that you guys have, I would love to be a part of this film. I got an email back, which was surprising, shortly after saying, "Well, hi Chris, we actually don't have any parts right now, but we'll keep your email on file and we'll keep you in mind," basically. So I was like, okay, that's cool, good enough for me. Within like 2 weeks, not even, I got an email back saying, "Hey, are you available for this time and this day to play a mail delivery intern?" And I was just like, heck yeah. So I took off time from work. I would have called out if I had to. At the time, I was working at Target. as a retail worker. So it was pretty cool. I think I got the email during work too, so I was like super pumped. But I went and I just emailed them back. They wanted to have me come in for a fitting. So actually scratch that. The fitting process was originally supposed to be its own day, but they actually just told me to come in the day of. It was kind of funny. So the first day of filming, normally you go in for a previous fitting. So I had shown up to this place, right? There's a bunch of people. It's actually at the state house was where they had it all set up. So there's a huge tent set up outside the state house with a bunch of these movie vans. You'll see a lot of the same vans on sets. There's like shuttle buses that they take back and forth from base camp to like holding, which is the different locations on set. So a lot of the background actors have to go. They have to park somewhere, and then you get transported to the set. So this is my first time experiencing this. So I went and I met up with where I was supposed to go. I checked in, and as I'm checking in through the check-in process, there's a picture of somebody on this clothing that they want me to try because I had never tried anything on. This is my first day on set. They're like, "Yeah, go see wardrobe after you check in. You're gonna get hair and looked at." And I was like, "Okay." I had no idea. They don't really tell you a lot. They kind of just shuffle you around and expect you to just go with the flow. So I was just going with the flow, and I go to try on this outfit, and it's so tight. I'm like, you guys have my measurements. This isn't me. They're like, what are you talking about? You're not, this isn't you? There's a picture of a kid that looks just like me or very similar. It's actually a really funny story with him, but his name was Gavin. And I'm like, I'm not Gavin. My name's Chris. They're like, what? The lady was so perplexed. It was so funny. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, lady. I'm like, this isn't me. I'm like a large, extra large. This is like a small, medium size. So I feel like, oh, am I causing am I
Yeah.
messing up the flow of things? But I'm like, God, just help me out, make sure this works. So the lady goes, she shuffles around some stuff, she gets me a new set of clothing. She's so perplexed on how she's like, weren't you supposed to be here for a fitting? I'm like, no, this is my first time here. I got an email to show up here. So basically, I believe from tracking the story that they had this kid that came in who was originally supposed to be part of the role for the mail delivery intern. And what ended up happening was he was, for whatever reason, not able to do it, or they didn't end up going with him, probably a scheduling conflict. So then they assumed wardrobe that kid was still coming, but the casting people just swapped me out. So I was fortunate enough to get the part, but it was funny that we looked so similar because the hairstyle. Looking at the picture, I could probably pull it up at some point and I'll show you. It's pretty funny, but she did a double take and she's like, that's not you. So anyway, they ended up getting me dressed. They put me into this little area where they did my hair. The film was set in 2008. That was the time
Mm.
period piece. So they had like these little BlackBerry phones on set and all this other stuff. They needed like period time cars for the movie too. So I forget the name of the state that they came up with, but they placed the big rug over the rug or the, I think it's like embedded into the ground in the state house, but the name of Rhode Island, they covered it up. And so they made it into their own fictional state house. And they just had this big room with a bunch of tables and chairs, and a bunch of the background people go, and we just wait to get called to what we're going to do. Basically, I forget the name of the people that tell us what to do, but one of the ADs, usually in the background PAs, tell us what we're going to be doing for the day. So they shuffle us from one section to another. A large majority of background work is literally just waiting around. It's like you're lucky from the amount of people that I talk to, you're lucky to even get some screen time every couple of movies you do, if that. I was talking to a guy who's been doing this for years. He's like, I've done this for over 20 something, 30 years. I've barely seen myself in a handful of things, and because that's solely all he does is background. I'm like, wow, that's kind of crazy. So I never expect much. I just go for it for the thrill. I'm super passionate about movies and TV, and I love the whole aspect of it. Ever since I was a kid, I really wanted to be in movies. I'm kind of jumping around, but
No, you're good. I'm all in. Go on. Go on.
basically during this day, we were shuffled to one part where we went into an office room in the state house, and basically there was all these set up. There was like so much equipment in this long hallway. Mind you, the state house is still operating at the time that they're filming, so it's kind of strange because you got people touring the state house. I never did that as a kid, but apparently a lot of schools
I've done
go.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was cool to see. It was my first time there. I've only driven past it to go to like the Providence Place Mall and stuff. So it was walking in there, it felt like the White House or something because there's just so much. There's so much going on, and people in business suits looking at me. It's funny because I'm dressed up sort of like business casual, like I'm in a cardigan. I dressed up. They had me dress up like something out of Mister Rogers' Neighborhood. It was or like I felt like someone like out of the Daily Bugle or Daily Planet, like a newspaper reporter or
Yeah.
something. I had like a vest, a tie. They had my hair slicked back, very different than I normally have it. So it was kind of fun. Um, as we have the downtime, I'm trying to chit chat and mingle with people because a lot of this is about networking. So I'm trying to talk to people, learn their experiences, kind of get the vibe. How many days are people on set? Like I was telling people, oh, this is my first time, and I'm trying to get more details about the movie because I truthfully really didn't know much about it. So they did the scene in this office room. Emma Mackey's there. The lady who voices Marge Simpson, I always forget her name. I think I should know it. I should know it, but it's not. It slips my mind. But she's iconic, so she's there. She's her secretary. James L. Brooks is there with a bunch of other people. It's very quiet, but it's very loud at the same time. The background, you're not supposed to talk to anybody. They don't want you, unless you're talked to, you can talk to somebody. You got to just follow directions best you can. And even when you don't feel like there's eyes on you, there's eyes on you. So you always got to just try to have your A game on. You got to make sure you're just paying attention, being respectful, and putting your best foot forward. So basically, we did this scene, and it was like a scene where Emma Mackey's love interest in the movie, I think it's her boyfriend or the husband at the time in the film, he comes in and starts talking with her and kind of arguing. They have this little argument scene, and at the beginning of the scene, I'm having this mail delivery cart, and it's kind of like a shopping carriage full of mail. And they first call background, right? In the beginning of a scene, they call background. So the background starts to move and brings the scene alive. Then they say action. So when they say action, everyone else starts playing the part. So at the top of the background scene, I'm passing these notes to like a briefcase of paperwork to another guy in this office. Kind of like pantomiming, which means to mouth words without speaking. So it's kind of like, so best you can, you try to make it look natural, try to make it look real. Um, I'm doing that, taking direction from how they want me to stand, how close I am. There's a camera off on one side. There's multiple angles with different cameras. So this is why the scene took so many times because they're trying to get the shot right. And they're doing so many different takes. This one scene was probably like a good 5 minute, 6 minute scene that they did well over 30 something times. It was ridiculous. So it was fun, but it was just like you would think like how many times does it take? Like you were bringing back how many times famous directors do multiple takes, and it was fun because I'm like I got nothing else better to do. I'm getting paid for this. It was a really cool opportunity. This was actually my first time being eligible for SAG, because little did I know I received a voucher for this set because it was a union based set.
Mm.
It was really cool. But basically, I'm passing these notes back and forth to people. I grab this little carriage, and when the guy comes in, the love interest guy, he comes in and he yells and he argues, and everyone's kind of like, "Ooh, damn, something's going on." So we stop what we're doing and we kind of peel out of the room, and everyone like he goes, "Everybody out, everybody out." So we just like grab our stuff and go. And I'm just turning around the corner and I'm standing still, dead silent, just listening and observing. There's all these monitors that are all around, and we're looking at the scene. Emma Mackey's like arguing with the guy, the secretary lady. I'm gonna just keep saying Marge Simpson. She's
Yeah.
there. She's like talking on her inter, intercom, intercom. Thank you. And it was just so surreal because I hear this lady's voice all the time. She sounds just like how she does in real life, so it's so
Oh yeah.
funny. It's so funny. And I grew up knowing her as like Timon's mom from The Lion King.
Mm.
There's a random Lion King movie, Lion King 1.5. I feel like her natural voice is more so that than Marge Simpson. So I just kept thinking of that. I was like, this is so funny. And then all of a sudden, we're doing the scene after like 20 something takes. Out comes Kamal Namanjiani. I might be saying his name wrong, but the actor who played
I know who you're
Ego,
talking
the
about.
guy from The Eternals.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
also in
The Big
I never
Short.
mind. Yeah.
The Big
Actually,
Short.
yeah, yeah.
He's like buff now too. So the guy's like
Really?
he's yeah, he has a presence. Like I remember he's a funny comedic actor. He's just right there during one of the pause takes. I look and I audibly go, "Oh dang, it's you!" And I'm like, "Oh crap, it's not. It wasn't filming, but it was really funny because I was just like shocked that he's thin there." So he's like, "Oh hi, how's it going?" So he starts talking to me. So I was like, "All right, since you're talking to me, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you." So I shake his hand, and me and this other kid who were in the scene were just chatting it up with him for a good like minute. I was like, "Hey, we Eternals had just came out a couple of years ago, so it was just like I like your performance in the Eternals was great, and you're a really funny dude." Just kind of making small talk. and he was asking where we were from, how many days we were on set. So it was really cool that he gave us a couple minutes of his time. I really wasn't expecting that, and he was chill. He had a role where I think he's playing like a police officer or sheriff, detective, something like that. He had like a policeman's uniform on, so he's gonna be in the scene, and he was just like waiting in the hallway because this room was split. So you had Emma Mackey in her office, like governor's office, with a bunch of people moving boxes, moving paperwork, kind of like making the scene look busy. There's like people working. There was a guy painting. I'm trying to recall how much was that happening on the set, but then there was another room with a doorway. In the doorway, I'm there. I'm pushing this mail cart. I'm giving the mail. Her secretary lady is there, and it was just kind of a small, intimate scene, and that just kept going on and on and on. While I'm filming this scene, I talk to a few people as we step out of the room, and we're watching it multiple takes. Eventually, they cut. We break for lunch. Then we go back to the scene. You think like, man, how long is this gonna go? This is like an 8 to 10 hour day, and really, it was just this scene. Like for a good like I would say maybe like three hours or so. It felt longer, but there was a lot of the time when I was just waiting and holding, just talking to people. So it was fortunate when I could actually go and be on set. So it was a lot of fun. I feel like I'm rambling on so much about it, but yeah.
No, I was enjoying every second of it. I learned that like you never really get a good perspective on the background and like what's going on behind the scenes. Like some actors will talk about it a little bit, but you'll never get that much, vivid detail. I'm curious to know, are you someone that gets starstruck? Because there's like you're working with a lot of people and you're naming names, and I'm like, damn, you worked with that guy? I'm like, oh shit. Are you someone that gets starstruck on set, or are you like keeping it cool? Because you met Kumal, and I'm curious to know how you reacted to that
So
overall.
I try my best to keep it cool. I feel like I'm pretty chill. I feel like I'm nonchalant, but also like the kid in me. I get excited and I'm super like
You
I'm
got me
eat.
with the nonchalant. You
Yeah,
got me.
yeah. I just feel like I'm a kid at heart, so I get super excited over the smallest things. I like to recount and tell the stories, to kind of bring you into that perspective, so I could try to transport you into how I was there. But I've gone to Comic Cons my whole life. I've met a lot of celebrities and been fortunate enough to like interact and have some really great stories with some. So I'm not new to seeing people like that on set. So that's why I kind of am accustomed to it. But like obviously when you see some big names, like I was on a set with Mark Wahlberg, and when he came on set, I was just like, damn, I'm like, this dude is like, I've seen you all my life on TV, and like you're actually right in front of me. It's kind of crazy. And other people like him, like Kamal, I've seen him and stuff, but I'm not like as awestruck as someone like that, or someone like Jake Gyllenhaal, who I was like shoulder to shoulder with, which was kind of crazy. But
We'll get to
uh,
that one.
yeah,
Yeah. The Mark Wahlberg thing, I actually have a quick story about that. I was there. He's filming a movie. I don't know if he's still filming it. I think it's called Weekend Warriors.
yep, that's the one.
And oh, really? No
Yeah,
kidding. Where were you? Because he was at the Celtics game that I was at, and during halftime, they filmed like part of the movie there, and like I was like watching them film a movie live, and I'm in the crowd. Where
that's
were you?
awesome. So I wasn't there, but I seen that posted all over social media. So that's sick that you got to experience that. So you're in a movie. That's your technically. Is that your first movie?
Yeah, technically, I guess if you want to go there, if you can see me in the crowd, I'm pretty close. Genuinely, I was
Even
like
if,
3 rows behind the backboard.
dude, even if you're not seen, you're in a movie. That's crazy. So like that's your first. You gotta put that as your credit, your background. Even if you didn't get paid for it, but hey, that's an experience in a lifetime right there.
Yeah,
Um,
that's just reminding me. And the Good Burger 2 thing, I don't know how much of it you were in. I haven't seen it, I'll be real, but they filmed it like 3 minutes from my house. And obviously it was like what, 2022, 2021 they were filming
yeah,
around there. So I
2022,
was like 15 or
23.
16. So
Yeah,
I had no interest in I at the time I had no interest. I had no idea that they were even filming it until it's right next to where I walked back. Like I walk because I had no car when I was 16. I'm broke as hell. So I'm like walking around and I'm seeing a bunch of people on set. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
yeah.
And that the place they filmed in the restaurant, I assumed it was there you were filming, is still there.
Yeah, it's actually cool. I didn't film there. That was like their headquarters, the main Good Burger location. It was the old Friendlies that they made into the Good Burger. I wish that somebody in Rhode Island, like an entrepreneur, made that into some type of like, it couldn't be Good Burger, but it could have been like Roadie Burger or something like
Great
that. Like
burger.
it should have been something, because that's such a wasted space. It was a laundromat or something like that they're gonna maybe turn it into, because the building's still there. I don't know. I feel like it's a wasted opportunity. It would have been a cool tourism spot for people that, even if the movie's not that big. I mean, people who grew up in the 90s love Good Burger 1. I've never seen the whole thing. I kept saying, "Oh, I'm gonna watch." Every time if I'm a part of a movie and it has like a previous lore, I try my best to watch something before it, so I'm familiar with it in case I meet anybody on the set.
Mm.
But I kind of just use Google and watch a bunch of stuff on YouTube. I'm like I'm like familiar with it, but I didn't grow up with it. So my cousins were all like, "Oh, welcome to Good Burger, home to Good Burger," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's it." But so I'm to tell you this real quick. I'll try to be
Yeah.
quicker than the
No,
last.
go ahead. Take your time, man. I'm in.
That first story of me getting onto Good Burger was my first time being on set. So I heard about they were coming to Rhode Island. I was like, "Oh, I got to get on this. This is so cool because it's a Nickelodeon movie, Paramount Pictures. That'd be great to have experience on." So they kept sending out emails. I signed up through Boston Casting, which I recommend anybody to do if you're in the area of New England area, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut. They do a lot of work, and that's where I've gotten a large majority of my stuff, my opportunities from. So I made a free profile and I just put some pictures that I had. They weren't even really professional headshots. And I had a small resume of like skills and crap that I put on there. Because I did have prior experience a little bit with being on TV. Um, I don't know if you ever seen this one thing. It was my claim to fame back when I was 7 years old. I did this commercial for United Skates of America.
Yep.
It's a roller skating rink, and
Yeah, I'm familiar.
I don't know if you ever recall or ever heard of this commercial where there's a kid at the end and there's Spider-Man on a rock wall, there's Star Wars, Darth Vader in a lightsaber in a laser tag area, there's like a Ninja Turtle, and at the end the kid goes, "I'll be back," and this door opens and closes. That was me, and I always tell people that, and it's kind of funny because like 9 times out of 10, people my age or older, like, "No, dude, that was you? I used to watch it all the time." Because it was so funny. My parents own this part-time costume company where we do like kids' birthday parties and special events with like characters like Elmo, SpongeBob, Star Wars, Scooby Doo, all that. So I was a child actor from when I was 5. I started out as this Jawa from Star Wars because I was small enough to play a Jawa. So I would be at the Warwick Mall, which is a popular spot here in Rhode Island, and we would have people come and do character meet and greets, and we would do like kind of like how Disney did Jedi training schools. We would do that where you could take on Darth Vader and whatnot. So it was a lot of fun growing up in my life. My childhood was very animated, so I got to be introduced into like an acting realm since I was 5. People would come up to me and be like, "Oh, yo, are you a midget in there? Are you a small person? Like, who are you?" And I would go up to my dad afterward, and I would be like, "Dad, what's a midget? What is this? What are they talking about?" He's like, "Don't worry about it, kid. Someday you'll be big and tall. You'll be good." And nowadays, I am fortunate enough to play characters like Darth Vader, Chewbacca,
Mm.
people that aren't midgets. So it was like, no, but I was a part of the small people crowd, and now I'm 6'2", so I can't play a Jawa no more. Otherwise, that would be really
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah.
So it's fun now. So it's a lot of cool opportunities. When I was younger, I did the commercial because my family had part of their costumes. With the At the time, United Skates was partnered with us. We're not really affiliated with them anymore. But it was really cool because the management there was like, "Hey, they spoke to my dad and they were like, "Would your son like to star in the commercial?" And I was like, "Yeah, heck yeah." So I didn't even care. I was like, as a kid, I didn't even know what was going on. I didn't realize how big it was going to be. They didn't pay me or anything. I think they paid me in tokens and tickets, like free prizes.
At that time, that's great. That's
It
better
was
than
that.
money.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, I'll take silly putty and a little pixie stick. I don't care. But it was really fun. So they filmed that commercial, and it was like peak American Idol at the time on
Mm.
TV, like
Yeah.
2007, 2008. So I went to back to school the day it aired. It aired between American Idol, and I would go back to school the next day, and everyone was like, "Yo, I seen you on TV." And for 5 years, 6 years straight, they would play it on Cartoon Network. It would play on like all the popular channels down here, and it was so cool just to go. I'd be at the doctor's office and be like, "You're the I'll be back kid," and I was like, "Yeah." So I never did anything after that. I really wish my parents like pursued me to try to do some more acting because I would have loved to get a head start. But as fate would have it, I was blessed to be selected through I I'm stuttering, but keep submitting emails through Gmail and Boston Casting to get onto Good Burger. I kept getting nothing, like nothing back from them
Really.
after everything I was submitting for. They were looking for Good Burger workers, Good Burger crowd patrons. They were looking for like people in New England Tech. They would film all around different parts, and I just couldn't get in on it. So I was like kind of giving up because it was like a good solid 2 months, and I know they were filming during the summertime. So I was out to eat with my family, and I finally got an email, and it said, "You've been selected to be a part of one of the last days of filming for Good Burger as a crowd member at a concert, like a concert goer." So I was like, "Oh,
Mm.
that's pretty cool." So they actually filmed it in Providence at the Strand Ballroom,
Oh,
and
no way.
yeah, so it was my first time. They had me meet. They give you like vague information, so they're like, "Meet at the Providence Place Mall. Look for this building in the old Bed Bath and Beyond." It was this big abandoned store that was in the Prov
Yeah.
Mall, and they just had a bunch of these chairs lined up. It was like 300 something people, probably more, but from what I counted, it was like close to 300. But all random background. There was like so much going on. I didn't know. I was trying to look around. I'm like, is there anybody here? Because Rhode Island's so small. I'm like, I got to see if I recognize somebody. I did end up recognizing one dude, a good friend of mine, named Zach Collier, and he was really nice to chat with. So I actually only had met this kid a couple times, and he's a local filmmaker, and he's an actor, and he does a bunch of cool stuff. But I reconnected with him, and we started chit chatting, and we basically were shuffled there. We were at this Bed Bath and Beyond from 5 p.m. till midnight, all the way till midnight. We were just waiting to be brought to the ballroom. So they got everybody up. The mall's closed at the time. We walk down outside the mall across the street to the Strand, and we wait in another holding facility for like a half an hour. And then they finally bring us into the Strand, and there's these two levels. There's a bottom level and a top level where there's a crowd scene. It was originally supposed to be Chance the Rapper, and maybe some other people that they were going to get to be this concert that the Good Burger guys were going to crash. So they basically crashed the car. The Good Burger car comes through the set, and Keenan and Kel are out on stage, and they kind of just have this random funny interaction where they drop off a Good Burger to the person that's performing, and it ended up not being somebody famous. It was actually this knockoff Dollar Tree looking Lizzo girl. She did a good job, but like it was nobody famous, but she was
Right.
like she was some random singer, and it was just super funny. They didn't actually crash the car, but they were like, "All right, everyone has to react like the car just crashed through the building." So we're just like we're vibing to music, and then all of a sudden we're like, "Oh, whoa, whoa, what happened?" So the car is literally just right there. They get out, they do this little montage of talking, and we're just like Kel's like, when I say good, you say burger, good, burger, good, burger. They did this for like 45 minutes. It was like 1 o'clock, 1:30 at this time. Don't you know when the movie comes out, I'm fast forwarding right to find the scene. This scene's like 5 seconds long. It's not even in the movie. I was like, what?
My
I'm
gosh.
like, you gotta be kidding me. First of all, 300 something people, you probably seen like 30 people with this one crowd shot they did to the camera. It was like
Mm.
the two levels I told you about. I wasn't on the bottom level, but I made my way to the front balcony of the top level thinking, "Oh, I'm at the front balcony. I'm going to be seen if the camera pans up." I'm like flaring my arms. I'm jumping up and down. I got like glow bracelets on trying to get attention to
Yeah.
myself. Nothing, bro. Like the movie sucked. I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't watch it. But it's you can't really make a sequel to a cheesy 90s movie like 20 something years later and expect it to be like Scorsese level or something like that. So
Yeah.
basically, it is what it is, but it was a lot of fun. A lot of people there I was chit-chatting with, and I learned how the fundamentals of the background work went. So it was a really cool experience to get to do that. The connections were built, and then that one it only paid me like $80. It was like 70, $80 for the first time I did that. And it was cool though, because I got to put on the resume it was a Nickelodeon Paramount Pictures movie. I never got to see Keenan and Kel up close and personal, but I knew that it was funny. They actually did the rap party for that at United States of America. So my friend told me, and I was like, oh man,
Full circle.
I could have went in there. Yeah. But it didn't end up being anything that big. But we went to go do another small part to the story with Ella McCay. The second day I was there, because we did that one scene in the office. The day ended. I went home. I chatted with people on the set, and I met this one really sweet lady named Erica Atwell Cardona, who is actually the founder of Ejoya Productions, who
Sure.
is
Yeah.
someone. She does the sketch comedy group. She runs that, and that's something I just joined recently. And she's really super talented. She's like basically like she's like a acting coach, mentor, talent manager for me. So she's really awesome. She helps me because she was actually from California. She was just a background on the set of Ella McCay, but we were talking. She was like giving me direction, and like she was talking to me about the actors that were actually performing in the scene. Like, he's coming at it a little too aggressive when he was yelling at Emma Mackey. She's like critiquing because she has this experience. She used to work on the set of the Goldbergs as a stand-in for the mom, which is like an ABC family
Yeah,
sitcom.
I'm very familiar. It's a great show.
Yeah. So we bonded over that, and we were talking a lot outside of the set when we were in the holding area, and we kind of just swapped info. And she was expressing how she was from Rhode Island, moved to LA, and then she just came back not that long ago, and she really wanted to get the creative spark in Rhode Island back to what she used to experience in LA. She wanted to bring that to Rhode Island, and she's so energetic. She has so much good like creativity in her, and she has so many cool connections that she was able to host a couple different acting classes. And she's actually part of this group right now. It's called The Search. It's like a talent show that they're doing for Rhode Island. It's kind of like America's Got Talent-esque. So
Mm.
that's going to be, I think, its own little show, but they're in the middle of filming it and doing stuff right now. So it was just a really cool opportunity to meet her. She found out that I like to do different impressions. So I told her when I went on her Instagram that I was like, "Oh, you were on the set of the Goldbergs?" I was like, "I love that show." And have you seen it?
Yeah,
Right.
I'm actually a
Okay.
big
Okay.
fan. Yeah.
Yeah. You said that, but I was like,
No,
"I'm
no,
ready
yeah.
for one." So I started to do this Adam Goldberg impression, where it's like, "Oh wow, how's it going? My name's Adam. Oh geez, Barry. Wall wall." I'm gonna butcher it. Hold on.
Go ahead.
My throat. I haven't taken a sip of water. Give me a second.
Yeah, you're good, dude. You've been talking for 30 minutes straight. Why don't you
Yeah, man. Yeah.
pace yourself?
Too long. Too long. But basically, I was like, "Oh, hi, my name's Adam. Geez Louise, Goldberg. So many things happening. I love the show. It's so amazing." So I was just basically rambling. I can't really think of a line, but I was just talking in his voice. She was just getting a kick out of it, and she sent it to him. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna record this." She's like, I'm gonna send this to him." I was like on the spot. I was like, "Oh my gosh." So it's like, "Hey Adam, how's it going? My name's Chris. I'm from Rhode Island." I'm like, "I just met Erica. She's so sweet." And we were just like vibing for a minute. So I just went off, and she's like, "Adam, I just met this kid from Rhode Island. You're gonna love him. He does a great impression of you." And she got a video back from him, and she sent it to me, and he's like, "Oh, this is one of the best impressions I've heard of myself." And I was like, whether that's true or not, that was awesome to hear. So I was like so happy, and it was super cool just because like I grew up watching that show with my family, and I just like to do different character voices with like cartoons, and I get it from my dad, who's actually an inspiration for me to want to learn to start acting because when he was a kid, around 18, he moved out to LA, and he pursued acting for a little bit because he wanted to do that. He's a martial artist, and he wanted to be on camera, so he ended up getting onto a couple small parts of this random show called Spencer for Hire back in the day. He did like two scenes where he was like a bad guy, like a drug dealer guy with like a gun, and a mafia guy. So he got shot and killed in like two scenes. So it was kind of funny. And then he was in this really terrible movie that like no one will ever know of, but it's called Terminal Exposure. And he was doing an impression of Stallone. He does one of like the best Sylvester Stallone impressions I know. And he was doing it on set, and the director goes, "Hey, you do that again." And the guy he goes, "I can't do Stallone," but he was
Yeah.
like, "Yo,
You want
like,
to do your
yo,
best?
like,
Yeah.
hey, how you doing? Hey, yo." I can't do it, bro. It's bad. He's doing it. He's like, "Yeah, I say kill the." He ended up saying the F bomb. He's like, "Yo, I say kill these guys," and he did it
Yeah.
in the Stallone voice. And the guy ended up wanting to use him for the scene, and he gave him a line. He gave him a line that day. It was super cool. Everybody's like, "Yo, no way, you got it." So I randomly was going on YouTube one day trying to find this movie because it's like so unheard of. But it was, don't you know, his scene was in a compilation of a bunch of random bits on YouTube, and I was able to find it. It was like back like 10 years ago. I found it. It was so random. So it was really cool to have. I screen recorded it, and he gets to now show people because I think he had the VHS version of it somewhere. But he would always tell us about all these things that he did. He was actually he did radio voices back in the day on this radio station that was around here called Kicks 106. So
Mhm.
he's always been like somebody. He grew me up watching all the classic stuff and listening to 70s, 80s music and Star Wars and Bruce Lee and Superman, all classic stuff. Back to the Future, Terminator, and we actually just always loved watching movies together. So I said when I was a kid, I was like, when I'm older, I really would love to be in a movie. So when these opportunities started coming around in this area, uh, I give God all the glory because of my faith. I feel like I've been able to showcase the talents that God has blessed me with, and through these different circumstances, all these different opportunities, I'm able to get selected, and it's been pretty cool so far doing it for just over 2 years.
The impression thing is really funny. I mean, I did not expect you to burst out with an Adam Goldberg
Yeah, it's a little
impression
little
just
it's a
now.
little rusty, but it's all
Yeah, I
right.
mean, I feel like it reminds me your impression of him. I don't know. Don't take this the wrong way, but it's
Yeah,
like
go
when
ahead.
he was getting older, and it was
Yep,
like the
yep.
later seasons,
Yeah,
and he
that's
was like he could not do the same voice anymore because
yeah,
he wasn't
exactly.
like 16.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
his cadence to his voice changed because he's so unique. You would think like, is that his actual real voice? But that's how he talks in real life.
yeah, which is so interesting, and it's very that's a fucking fantastic story. I'm gonna what is it called? Terminal exposure. Like that might be like a to be classic right there.
It could be. I honestly, I feel like he's credited as something. We were on either IMDb or Plex, the movie
Mm.
streaming app, and
Yeah,
we were like looking, and we looked up the movie. It was there, and he was actually credited as something. I think it was like Goon or Villain One, something weird. But I was like,
yeah.
wow, you're actually
Really,
credited.
yeah.
I think he at the time he said he was in a part of SAG, but my dad he just never did anything with it. Like he had so much that he got these cool experiences and stories from being out there, but I think just life and God called him into a different direction. So he ended up coming back home after a couple of years of being out there. He was actually, believe it or not, he was going to join the WWF at one point, which is kind of a crazy story. But he ended up with all the crazy drama and drugs and stuff that was related during that time in the late
Mm.
'80s. He didn't want to pursue that, so he ended up coming back home and just kind of did some stuff with his voice. But it was always cool to know that that was a connection that I had, and then family and friends always were like, you know what, you love movies so much, you should do something with it one day. So I was like, you know what, let me do it.
I these stories are so interesting because obviously I've looked at your resume that you sent me, and like I was amazed. I was like reading it off, and I'm like, I'm just going down the list, and I'm like, these are really so unique, and you've been working with Verdi Productions, and I'm curious to know like your experience with them because I've been in contact with them a little bit. You've helped hook me up with that. What is your relationship with them? Like, how did you get in contact with them? You know, just if you can tell me like the full story, I'd really want to hear that.
Yeah, all right, I'm going to tell you it, and I'm going to try to brief it because I realize I look at the time and I'm like, damn, I'm like chatting so much, I feel
We're
like I
under
can
no
get carried
time
away.
constraint. This is as long as you want to go. We can go for all day if
All
you
right,
want.
all right, let's do it, let's do it. All right, so we got basically tracking back right between, I would say, shortly after Ella McCay, I met this lady that I told you, and the lady, Erica, she connected me with this guy named Ed Brady, and he's like a local entrepreneur who is a great friend of mine, who I got to meet and work with through the last couple of years being on set, and also he's been someone that was a part of the sketch comedy group. Really funny dude. He has a lot of great connections. He was actually one of the people that helped get Keenan Thompson to come to Rhode Island because I think he went, if I'm not mistaken, he's like childhood friends with him or somehow. Like he either went to school with him or he had some type of relationship with him when he was younger, and they kept in touch and they were able to, or either he had a friend of a friend. There was a connection where he was able to help talk to him about making Rhode Island the location for filming that movie. So he had a lot of cool pull with different areas in the film division, and I found out about this local crew because I was like, I love doing these big movies. I'm like, I wonder if there's any local stuff. And I heard about stuff in the past through talking to different people that they were looking for extras for random scenes and stuff around Rhode Island because they've had so much come to this area. I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time, Dumb and Dumber, was filmed partially in here. I grew up. Underdog was filmed at the State House, which was cool when I was there. That's a movie that was there. So many other ones. But when we got to find out about Verdi Productions, I went on Instagram and Google, found out they were a local production company who were tied to movies like The Irishman, Bleed for This, and a bunch of other smaller
I think
movies that
yeah, another Scorsese movie. I forget the name of it, but I think they've worked together a lot. They're doing a documentary or something together. I think pretty soon. But yeah,
they,
go on.
they yeah, they have a lot of cool connections, and they're a really cool group of people.
I think it was
Ma-
Silence. Sorry, don't not to interrupt you, but I
no,
think
go
the
ahead.
movie was Silence. They've worked together on. I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Don't be sorry. Interject at any time. But Silence, I think sounds familiar. I remember seeing that on their catalog. So That was with what, Andrew Garfield?
Yes,
Or
that's
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I haven't seen that. I have to watch it.
very good.
Quick story from that though. I actually got to hold Andrew Garfield's Oscar book, like his actual Oscar book from that movie. My friend has a friend who's related to Andrew Garfield, and she for whatever reason sent them the Oscar book that Andrew had, and it was like I'm holding something that Andrew Garfield actually held, which was sick. It was for the movie Silence when he was like nominated for that, so it was sick. Yeah, that was a small flex, but I
Yeah,
had to
no,
say
that's a
that.
good flex.
So
Continue with the Verdi stuff, please.
yeah, so when I went to go to see the Verdi Productions office, they have it in East Greenwich, and I ended up finding out how local and close they were. So we went to go on their website. There's like an email, so I went on and just submitted. They ended up emailing me back right away saying, "Yeah, we look for extra work all the time." So they were filming this two movies close to each other. One of the directors' name was Glenn Ciano. He's a popular director over here, and then there's also Tom DeNucci. They both work with the Verdi Productions frequently, and one of the movies that I worked with early on was called A Friend's Obsession. So that's the first one that I did, and they were filming at the CCRI gymnasium, I believe, or no, it wasn't CCRI, the Rhode Island College, I think it was
That's
actually.
where I go.
Yeah, it was at the Rhode Island
Yeah,
College because it was like I'm not familiar. I didn't go to Rhode Island College, but the area
yes.
I remember the gymnasium and the
The
flags.
gymnasium is the Murray Center,
The
if
Murray
that's the
Center.
thing.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. Yep,
Yeah.
that's the one. So we went there, and it was not a lot of people. It was a lot smaller than what I was used to. So it was more a close group of people. There's probably like maybe 50 to 60, and then we were just spread out on these bleachers the first day, and we were just playing basketball fans. They told us to wear red and white. I think they might have had it based in Rhode Island, like it was like a Rhode Island movie. It was a psycho killer best friend movie where like there was a thriller where the girl's like grew up with this girl in school. She moved away and she's like a psycho. She wants to be best friends with her, so she goes and kills everybody in her inner circle so she could be the only friend with her. So that was really funny. It was just something for I think it was Tubi or Lifetime. I think it was a Lifetime movie. I get confused because I've done so many of them, but there are a lot of the local,
Flex.
yeah, Tubi, Lifetime, Hallmark,
Mm.
all the local stuff. There's like random streaming apps that they have. I think one was called Filio or Filio.
I think
A
it's
lot
yeah, yeah.
a lot of these movies that they do are more lower budget and they get put onto these different streaming services. Then they have the big ones that they do every couple of years that end up they're working with like the big wigs, and like that's what I long to be a part of. But I started developing my relationship with them being like, oh, this is a really cool time. I introduced myself to Chad Verdi Jr. and Paul Luba, who are part of Verdi Productions, and just introduced myself, started talking to them. They're like, oh yeah, we like you. If you want, we're actually filming some other days on set. Now this was unpaid. This is unpaid background work, but it was still exposure. I get my name on IMDb, and just to add to list of credits. So it was really cool. Me and my sister, my youngest sister at the time, both were in that first one that they did. And then I did a couple other scenes at the college outside, and we were like walking into a dorm. And then there was a college house party scene that was actually pretty fun to film because I always see like these party scenes on movies and TV and stuff. So it was actually from like 5 p.m. till like 3 a.m., 4 in the morning that they were filming at a random house in West Warwick, Rhode Island.
I
That
think I saw that clip on your YouTube. Not that I did any stalking, but when I was doing
No,
the research.
that's yeah, that was it. So the most funniest part about that was they're filming this scene, right? They did multiple different outfit changes, so they were filming at this one location, and it's taken place over a course of like five different nights. So we had different outfits that we're wearing, and they're just nonstop filming different scenes. And one of the scenes was the dance party scene that's on the YouTube, and there's no music playing when we're actually filming that. It's the most cringe
Yeah.
thing ever. You're dancing, there's nothing going on, bro. They're like, all right, everybody start dancing. So we're bopping. In my head, I'm like, please don't stop the music. I'm like, I'm trying to think of anything, Michael Jackson. I'm trying to think of something just to get this off my mind because I'm like, this is the most cringe thing ever. So I'm also like, how much do I really want to move? I'm like, but I kind of want to be seen. So I'm like, we had these red solo cups with nothing in them, and
Of
we're like
course.
walking around, we're like bopping. So there's these girls and guys that are mixed in the group. So I'm like pantomiming, but I'm talking and stuff, and I'm like, please God, may a girl come next to me so this doesn't look so cringe. So like all of a sudden, I asked this girl, I'm like, can you come over here? Because I'm over here just dancing by myself. I'm gonna be a guy in the corner with a cup. So I call this girl over. She ends up making it look a little bit more natural. But it was so fun because the actors that were in the scene were really going at it. This girl was just like dancing like crazy. She kind of had like a Uma Thurman like vibe, and she's like going
Mhm.
around like from Pulp Fiction. It was
Yeah.
really fun. But that was a really cool time because I knew that I was making a lot of friend connections through being on that set with people my age. And then they did this doctor movie called Till Death shortly after, and we ended up the Doctor with Two Faces is actually what it's called. I always forget sometimes when I'm talking about the films because there's a working title and then there's the title they actually go with. So sometimes it switches. So when I was
Mhm.
working on it, I think it was called Till Death, and now it's actually the Doctor with Two Faces. That was really cool because I got to play a nurse and a doctor just in short background scenes. But within the first like opening 30 seconds of the movie, you can see me actually going, and as they had the opening credits, I'm dressed up as a doctor. I felt like Doogie Howser, and I'm shaking this guy's hand, who's actually a really popular actor around the area. His name's Eric Lutz. He played a
Mhm.
doctor in the movie, and it was just cool. There's all these different experiences. You wait on set for hours on end. You don't know if you're going to be seen, but then when it actually comes out, even for a fragmented like couple seconds, it's rewarding.
Fantastic. I mean, I know you were also a part of the Roaring Game, which I know you weren't at the premiere for. I was
Mm,
actually at the premiere.
that's
I was
awesome.
there by complete chance. Like I was just going to see the movie because I thought it sounded very interesting, and then I got roped in to like being an usher for the Rhode Island Film Festival just by because I was there so early. They were like, "Hey, you're wearing nice clothes. You want to do some work?" And I'm like,
No
"All right."
way. That's sick.
It's like what are the chances of that? Because my friend Gianna, who I'm gonna give a shout out to, I hope she watches this. She works at the film and TV office in Rhode Island, so
Oh, nice.
she got me in early because she had like a VIP, and I just walked in with her. I didn't have my own pass. I just was like, yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I'm a
That's so cool.
VIP.
There you go.
It's fake it till you make it. And
Right?
they were like, hey, you're here early, and technically should not be here. So either you can leave, or you can be
Or
an
you
usher.
could
I'm like,
get to
okay,
work, right?
yeah, yes, that's
Like,
right. They're like, yes, unpaid, and you're just gonna stand there and try to look tough. And I'm like, I'm 6'6", like 180 at the time, like
dude, that's crazy.
little
I
skinny guy.
I just told you that the other day though. I didn't even realize that till I looked at the pictures again. I'm like, damn, this kid is like tall.
Well, I'm actually 6'7", but obviously we talked about that's the exact problem. That's the
Yeah,
problem. I talked
yeah.
about this yesterday when I was filming. I guess we can talk about it a little bit. I was filming a thing for House of Highlights with some guys, and they're all much older than me, so they don't understand the 6'7" joke. But I told them I was 6'8", and they're like,
Okay.
"There's no way." And I'm like,
Yeah,
"I'm actually 6'7", but there's like a meme, and they were completely like mind boggled. They're like, "What the hell is this kid talking about?
I
What like?"
know. No, it's cringe. I give into it because I got younger siblings and I'm
Mm.
around my little cousins, and that's all they're all about. I like telling them when they say it. I like 6'8" or 8'9" or whatever the heck people are saying.
I think it's 4'1" is the new one, but
4'1". Yeah,
I think that's a new one.
that's still crazy, dude. Like, what is your family like? Like, what's your nationality?
We are part of my family is from like the Nordic regions, like my ancestors. So like like the actual like Viking people, which
Oh,
is like
that's sick.
crazy to think about. And
Yeah, yeah.
my dad's 6'5" and my mom's 5'9".
That's pretty sweet.
So, and my dad told me I have like a great grandfather who was like actually 6'11" or some crazy shit like that, like
I believe it.
something unbelievable. And obviously, there's no I don't even know if there were like pictures back then for normal people, like because we
Yeah,
were but either way, like just to think about that is so it's just weird to think about.
yeah,
But I do want to ask you about something because you mentioned, you emphasized when we were talking about Ella McCay at first how it's going to be in theaters and you hope people watch in theaters. There's a lot of talk about this Warner acquisition. We don't have to talk about the acquisition specifically, but I want to know what your relationship is with movie theaters. Like, if you have any favorite memories of watching films in theaters, and like, what was your time like? And I hope it doesn't go away. But I know the world we live in. Theaters are a weird
yeah.
spot.
It's crazy, but I think that we will have theaters around for a good while. I feel like the crowd and the amount of money that they pull, it's evident that people definitely like the theater going experience. Sure, they might not be what they used to be, but also with the record numbers that they get for ticket sales, I feel like they still have a good chance, especially with the market. A lot of people know that they want it's different. It's just a different experience. When you're a film lover, you love going to go see it on the biggest screen
Exactly.
possible, surrounded by fans or people experiencing it for the first time. It's core memories for me as a kid. Movies I grew up watching. I mean, going all the way back, my dad brought me to Phantom Menace back in when I was born in '99. I think I don't know how long this movie was in theaters for because like it came out in 99,
Yeah.
98, and
Yeah.
I'm literally like as a kid, he had me with a little Boba Fett at the time mask on, and I'm sitting there, and I remember my mom took this picture with me, my cousins. He has a Darth Vader mask. We're in the front row. So this guy, he's so hardcore. He brought me there like right out of the womb. So I don't remember that, but I have the photos, and it was like so cool to see. But then Attack of the Clones came out, and I actually made it onto this little news segment because my dad was one of the first people to go get tickets to go for it when it came out back in like 2002, 2003, and I was just waking up from a nap, and I'm like, he's like, my dad's trying to put a Jango Fett helmet on me, and he's like showing that I'm like into it, but I wasn't having it, but it was funny, and at the time that was fun. I can't say that I remember that, but he's been bringing me to the theater ever since I was a kid. I remember seeing like the first Transformers movie. That was a big one
Mm.
back in like 2007. The first Iron Man movie. Funny story with that. When I went to go see Iron Man and all the Marvel movies back in the day, I would be in school, and the day they released, my dad would just go to my school. He would pull me out of class. He'd be like, "Yeah, we got an appointment today with Doctor Stark or Doctor Iron Man." He would just straight up say the superhero's name. Yeah, Doctor Avenger needs my kid at 2:30 today. I can't. He can't stay the or 12 o'clock. So he would pull me and my brother up out of school. Goat dad, I love him. And he would bring me and surprise us to go see the movie. So I remember the first Avengers. I remember the first Iron Man. I'm a huge Marvel fan, so I love all of those. I love event movies, ones that bring people together. So like No Way Home and Endgame stand out in my mind with how crazy those were. Um, the Force Awakens, when that came out, I'm a huge, massive Star Wars fan. I dressed up as Kylo Ren for that, and people were taking pictures with me. I was 15. I can't believe that movie's now 10 years old. I don't know where the time has
It's
gone,
crazy.
but that was a monumental experience because that line, just like Endgame, was people were waiting in line over an hour plus for the next showing, just in line outside. You don't really see that nowadays anymore. I feel like there's multiple showings for the same time, but there was that crowd that wanted that day one spot, and the line was so long. I could remember being tempted as a kid because I was like kind of stupid, but I was like wanted to spoil that Han Solo died. So I was like, they killed Han Solo, but I didn't say it. But I was like, imagine the rage that me or my brother would have got if we said that. It's not that I wanted to do that, but it was
But
funny
yeah.
but it was so cool to see how much there was. I remember the theater being so packed you couldn't really find a seat. This was before the assigned ticket seating, so we were like trying to scramble. We had like an end seat, but I remember other big movies of recent. I really like Dune 2. That was a cool cinematic experience, as well as John Wick 4. I love that movie. That was so good. I love the long movies that are like really impactful. Um, Interstellar. Actually, I had never seen it. Right up until a couple of shortly like halfway last year. Whenever they had the re-release, they just came out. It was a 10-year re-release in 2024. I never got it spoiled for me, but I got to see it the night it re-released in IMAX with a packed crowd. So it was like I got to relive the moment that everybody first originally had. So me and my brother, we watched it. It was so cinematic, the sound, the music, the performances. I never I don't ask me why I never watched it. It really was I slack. I'm a big movie fan, but there's a lot of classic movies like that I still haven't seen. And I like to watch movies a lot with my brother and my dad. So getting our schedules together at the same time on the same night is a little difficult. One's fallen asleep, one has work the next morning, yada yada yada. But we ended up going to see that. It was so cool. So I remember that, and it was really really impactful. And then I really love when they have like re-releases of older movies that come back to theaters. Like this movie, one of my favorites of all time, is called They Live, and it's
Yeah.
Roddy
Yes.
Piper and
Yes.
John Carpenter.
So
So
good.
it's one of my
Yes.
top movies, and they came out with that again. Same thing with like Enter the Dragon, or whenever they come out with Star Wars again. I think in 2027 is going to be the
Yep.
theatrical
February.
release. I'll be
Yeah.
there, so I'm super excited for that. But I just everything. Anytime there's a movie that I want to watch, I'll go to see it in the theater.
Yeah.
You? How
I'm
about
with
you?
you.
What would you say? Share your
Dude,
experiences.
it's funny that you talk about like getting pulled out of school early because for Marvel movies, my mom did the same thing for me. But obviously, I'm younger than you, so it started with Age of Ultron because I
Oh,
was
that's classic.
I was what 9, not even 8, maybe, and all those movies, Civil War, I think, just go down the list from like 2015 until COVID happened. I was getting pulled out of school to go to these movies. Like this was like very common. So like that's I immediately thought of that when you said that. My dad's more into Star Wars, like you are. So when I saw Force Awakens, I was 9,
Mm.
and he already had seen it 3 times at that point when I saw it for the first time. Like he probably went 6 times to the theater. Like he accounted for half
That's a
the
lot.
box office personally. So, but any of those movies, dude, I just saw Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair this past weekend in the theater. It was so
I
fantastic.
wanted to see that. I was working a double. I couldn't go. And you want to know what's sad?
Yeah.
I have never seen that.
I won't lie, it was my first time seeing it. I wanted to
Okay,
save it.
okay.
When I heard
All
they were
right.
doing theater release, I'm like, it was the same thing with you in Interstellar. I was like, I have to wait. I have to just see it with a packed crowd, which I did.
It'd be long. How long was it?
It was, including intermission, I think it was probably 4.5 hours.
Wow. That's
So I went to a
incredible.
7 p.m. and then got out at like 11:30 up
Wow.
or so. So
So
yeah, it's a time crunch. Like you need to set aside time.
how much of an intermission did they have?
15 minutes. So I had enough. I got a
To
coffee in
pee.
between. Yeah,
Okay.
because I
What's your
wasn't gonna make it.
what's your like theater of choice? Where do you like to go?
I have a subscription at Lincoln
Okay.
Cinema World.
Yep.
That's the only reason. Like the one in Providence, I don't know has a subscription because they're going through the whole like they're changing over to Apple now, so they might have one now. But Lincoln, it's probably the one I've been going to my entire life. All of my memories are at that one. It's very small
Yeah.
theater.
No, I know.
Uh, oh, you're familiar?
That's the one. Yeah, that one. That's where I saw Force Awakens. That's where I saw Endgame.
Yeah,
That's where I
me too.
saw so many. I grew up going to that one because that was my favorite theater. I just at the time it was very clean and modern, but now they're funny enough. I feel like they're the oldest one. I don't think they haven't updated the seating, right? It's still
Mm.
so that's the thing. I like comfort when I'm watching the movies, so the reclining seats at the Warwick
Yeah,
showcase in
that one's nice.
The X Plus theater room. I love the big screen. So
Yeah.
AMC has like the curved screen in like their special room. I'm not a big fan of Apple Cinemas because I feel like the concepts are really cool, but their quality isn't as great. I feel like they don't really there's a lot of broken parts to it where like the seats sometimes don't work. It's very cheap. I don't know. It's like they're ambitious, but the people running them, I don't think they're well kept. So I hope that the one in the Providence Place Mall ends up being good when it's brand new. But because I was getting nervous because that's the only IMAX around that still operates with I think certain film stuff where people from New York and Connecticut and all around come to our IMAX specifically when they film movies for IMAX to view it because it's one of the only ones around. So I was like really happy that they were continuing to keep it. I just hope it's well kept. But Lincoln Cinema's nostalgic for me. So many. I saw The Dark Knight Rises there. I seen so many.
Oh
It was great.
man, I
Yeah.
wonder if we were at like the same like Endgame showing. Like it's very possible. I probably went opening night if I had to guess. I
Dude,
probably or Infinity War. We probably were at the same one to be honest. If we were,
we had to be. Yeah, I mean, if you were
but
there opening night, I was there. It was
yeah,
huge. The line would go all the way out past there was a Papagino's that would go past there, it would go all
yes,
the way out to
yep,
the
I
parking lot.
remember that.
If
I
you
remember eating there a lot.
Did
Yeah,
you see Force Awakens there?
yep, I saw it.
Did
I
you
saw
see it?
all the Star Wars there. I
Did you
think
see it?
like the most recent
Did
ones.
you see it opening night?
I didn't. I was 9. I've never seen a Star Wars. It's my first Star Wars to be honest. So I went the week after. I
Okay,
think
okay. My
my
dad
dad went opening night, then that Saturday, and then the next week.
my dad brought so we have the costume company, we have a life-size R2D2 and C3PO. So
Mm.
he bought a ticket for R2 to sit in the theater with him, but they wouldn't allow it. At this time, they were like really like there was a lot of crazy stuff happening where like they were scared for like bombs and like they even had to put a little zip tie around my lightsaber to make sure it wasn't a real weapon. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna slice somebody's arm off with this.
Yeah.
But at the time we had him in like the lobby and people were taking photos with him. It was really cool, but we couldn't bring him in the theater. But I was gonna say if you happen to be there, that would have been something funny to recall.
Yeah,
But so much
that would have been cool. But I saw like all the other ones, like Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker and Solo. I saw all those
yeah,
opening night. I remember.
yeah,
Uh, I will say the most recent time I can remember being a long line, the Minecraft movie.
really.
Like I went opening night and I was supposed to go to like a 6 and it was sold out before I got there,
Wow,
and so I had to go to like a 7:30. It was like
Uh,
crazy.
there was so much hype between that and I would say the Barbenheimer, like the
Yeah.
Oppenheimer, like Barbie movie. Those two movies out of the last couple of years, I feel like were the most like big event movies, aside from like Wicked with all the girls and guys that like that. But like there was so much hype around the Minecraft movie. I was like happy for cinemas, but like it's such a silly movie. I'm not a Minecraft kid. I didn't grow up playing
Mm.
Minecraft, so I was just like for the jokes and all, like I didn't experience it, but it was impactful to see how much that that experience is going to be core memories for kids that grew up going to the theater, going to watch that. I mean, yeah, they're making a mess. I don't really condone them making those workers have to go
I
crazy
agree.
with
Yeah,
cleaning
that
up
was
all that
bad.
crap. But I mean, at the same time, it was kind of funny, and it's not like that happens all the time, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I remember getting like popcorn rained on me the first time, and I didn't know the joke. I didn't understand why we were getting like popcorn thrown at me and my friend. We went opening night, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
That's so
Um,
funny.
the Wicked. Are you a Wicked guy at all, or no? Is that not your style?
My sisters love it. They're like all
Really?
into it. I like Wizard of Oz, but I'm not really. I don't really like the actresses that are playing it. I think just there's something weird about them, in my opinion. But
Hmm.
I will watch it maybe at one point because everyone raves about it. My uncle loves it. He wants to get me to watch it, and I don't know. I just are you a fan of it?
I've seen both. I saw both of them. They're fine. Like I like musicals a lot. The first one's good. The second one has a lot of problems that obviously we don't have to do a Wicked for good review, but those movies are for what they are. They're cool. The press is cool. I went to when I saw Wicked for Good opening night. Theater was like slammed. Like it was,
Fun.
I was happy to see it. Like I was happy
Yeah.
to see a theater. I think my theater might have been sold out. If not, if it wasn't, it was very close. And Zootopia 2 is another one. I haven't seen it yet, but like 900 million at the box office in like 2 weeks. I'm like,
Mm.
Jesus, like
Yeah.
what the hell is it? So that gives me hope. Like that gives me hope. But like the theater thing, I don't know if you've ever been to in Cambridge, Mass. There's a place called Coolidge Corner Theater.
No, never heard of it.
I really recommend it. It's a very historic theater. And I saw one battle after another like 2 weeks early.
Oh, wow.
I got a special. That was probably like my favorite memory of going to a theater because you're there with people. I don't know why I was there. It's all BU and Harvard people,
Hmm.
and I'm just this kid from Rhode Island who has no business being there. But I had a friend who goes there, and I got merch. Like it was one of those where they give out merch. It was like one of those crazy events. But
That's actually really cool. They don't do. I wish they did that nowadays. There's like growing up. I remember hearing about midnight screenings and premieres and how they would
mm,
give away movie tie-in stuff. I remember when Harry Potter came out. I remember friends got like the glasses and all this other stuff. When I was a kid, like Twilight was so big. I never saw that, but like those were theater experiences that had those midnight releases that people were going crazy about. Now movies are coming out earlier and earlier. I think even for like the most modern Marvel movies and stuff, there's like 3 p.m. showtimes, which is cool, but it's not the same as gathering everybody for an event. Like I just saw Revenge of the Sith
mm,
for the special 20th
I
anniversary
thought twice.
screening. Yeah, that's. I wish
Yeah.
I saw it twice. My brother got to go see it in a bigger screen theater. I was like, why is this movie not getting the love it truly deserves? Because like everybody now who's grown up with it and showed the love and admiration for Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen has voiced their opinion that how popular one of the best Star Wars movies they ever did. Like that's what my generation thinks at least. I mean, even the older generation that had its problems with it, it's not a perfect film, but compared to what we get nowadays, truly iconic. So there's so much to it where I feel like they could have blew it up, especially because there isn't a lot of Star Wars related stuff happening right now. That was I think that Disney missed the mark by not making it a big fan event. I mean, they have these guys that go to Comic Con and we get to meet them and see them, and the lines for them are crazy long. You mean to tell me that if you don't make a dedicated Star Wars Day event for like at a movie theater experience, that people wouldn't pay a premium to watch it in the biggest screen possible with all these little extras? Like I feel like they don't cater to certain crowds as much as they do. Like I feel like there's a lot more give for like Wicked, whereas Star Wars, such a bigger franchise, doesn't get the love that it deserves. I feel like that's what aggravates me as a fan, but it was still cool because I dressed up. I went with my brother. We actually recreated a video that's not out yet. We filmed. I dressed up as Anakin. He was Vader, and I got my friends, and we love the old interview styles for premieres back in the day. Like if you look at like the old prequels, they had all the opening fan event nights, and like people would go share their reactions. It is like a little new TV news segment. So
Yes.
we tried to recreate that with like funny jokes and editing. We'll probably put it out at some point, but it was a lot of fun, and we try to get a little silly with it. Actually, I was able to get on the Showcase Cinemas website. They shared my reel because I dressed up. They did like I did that. Oh, what movie are you here to see? And we panned
Yeah.
to
It's one
us.
of those. I think I've seen that. Yeah.
That was fun. So I'm looking forward to more films that come out that we could do that with. I feel like right now the only big film that'll probably be an event film, but I'm not sure how big it's going to be is Avatar 3, but we'll see.
I think people are going to see Avatar 3. I have not. I'll be real. I haven't seen the Avatar movies. I want to. Like, I think I will watch Avatar at least the first one at some point. But there's like that whole thing where they're going to do like a 5 minute clip of the Odyssey
Oh yeah.
beforehand. I've heard about that. I don't know if how true it is. You see it online. You never know. But if that's true, I think people will go. That Nolan heads will go see that
Hmm.
just for it. Maybe they'll leave immediately after, and maybe that's something that happens. But I think the Avatar movies they make like what $1 billion like easily. So
Come out, but then there's certain movies when you watch them, they're like, man, this is a must see in the theater. I think Avatar does lean towards that. Number two was really good. I like that more than the first one, to be honest. Growing up, I really wasn't a big fan. I feel like it caters to an older crowd because I feel the movie is a little in depth with the themes that they have for it. So when I was like 9 or 8 years old at the time of the first one, I didn't really like it. So I was just like, I don't like these blue people. And now I appreciate the vision of James Cameron and everybody that's putting into it. How much CGI looks so polished, so crisp, so the imaginary like storytelling that this guy is coming up with how many movies he has planned out. I think he wants to do like a couple more, and it's just like I respect the vision, and I definitely want to support that if it's something that's entertaining as much as it is. To me, like I do recommend going to watch the first two and then give the third one a shot because I don't know when the next time they're gonna come out with the fourth one if they do it, but I'm sure it'll be a couple years. So it'll be a good experience for sure.
I'll definitely be looking to check them out. But I want to end this off with one more question for people. You're established in the community of film, and you've done a plenty of roles, especially with Ella McCay that's coming out. That's out now. Everyone go see that if you have the time to go see that. If you could share some advice for people like me or anyone that wants to get involved in acting, you have the floor. I want to hear your take and what you can do to help these people out.
Yeah, for sure. So first things first, I would just say if you're passionate about it, put yourself out there and just take the step and a leap of faith and just see what happens because you never know until you try. I would say I'm someone I have like a charismatic energy about myself. I know my strengths and my weaknesses. Um, if you believe that you wouldn't want to do it, you might not know if that's the case until you really give it a try. Like you could think like, "Oh, that's not for me," but then you try it out and you like it. It's like that with anything. But even with just background acting, I like the idea of building dad lore so I could show my future kids and stuff
Yes.
that
Yes.
like, Leo, look, I'm in this movie I did back in the day. You casually just put it on, even if it's for a quick second. Like I was blessed to be in the trailer for Ella McCay. I was like, out of all the small scenes that they filmed, I was only on 2 days on set. They used like a 3 second clip of me walking, running up the stairs. Which I didn't really touch upon, but that you'll see it in the movie. But that one scene, I was like so blessed to have that, so that I can go back to even just the trailer which showed in the theaters, let alone when I'm actually going to be watching it. So it was really cool because when you put that type of passion into something, you just want to make it as best as it could be. Now, you might not always get selected, you might not always have opportunities to do film, but if you at least look for different areas, check out different film offices in your area, check out the casting websites, create that profile, get connected with people and friends online through social media that are doing this type of stuff. I know you reached out through me because we have a mutual friend that shout out Vishay,
Yeah.
who I was able to get connected. She's like, "Oh, you love movies so much. I got a friend who has a podcast. You guys like the same things. You should connect." You never know if you don't talk about these things. You got to talk about what you're passionate about, and if you go and create yourself like a little couple headshots, get yourself out there. You never know what could happen. People like your look. I was fortunate enough to be on. The coolest thing I did this year was to touch upon real quick the M Night Shyamalan movie, which was
Yeah. Sure.
Remain, and
Yeah.
I didn't think I was gonna get much out of that. I just submitted for regular extra work, and I'm at my job, and I get an email that says you have been hand selected by M Night Shyamalan himself to be a part of a main cast friend group for this movie. I was blown away. I was like, dude, I just submitted as a regular background, and I ended up getting selected to be so featured. I went to Providence, and I met with M Night in his film office, and I shook this guy's hand. I was like so stumped. I was just like freaking out. I'm like I was so composed, but I was so like shocked in my mind. I was like, They're like, "So, I'm thinking this is an interview to see if I'm a good fit, but I basically got the part just off my look, and he liked what I had on my resume, and I just talked to the people that were in charge, and they're like, yeah, so basically you're going to be a friend of one of the main cast members. Her name in the movie is Ren, and there's also a
Hmm.
book out right now that's tied in with the movie. It's going to be a little bit different. It's not the exact same, but it's Jake Gyllenhaal and this girl Phoebe Denevere, who's playing the girl Ren, and we're me and a small handful of people, like I would say like around 8 of us are friends of this girl, and they did these couple of scenes which I don't think I can go too much into,
Yeah,
but
no, yeah. So what
basically,
is?
yeah, but basically we got to be a part of this little friend group where they were taking photos of us, and they're going to use these photos in the movie, and they were like establishing this friendship group, and it was really cool. We did a couple different locations around Narragansett, Newport, and even in Providence. It was really cool. I did this one scene overnight at this festival where I was shoulder to shoulder with Jake Gyllenhaal. Every part of me wanted to say something to him, but I was trying to remain professional, and I didn't want to be that guy that was like, "Oh, Mr. Gyllenhaal, I love you," and like,
As
Roadhouse,
Mysterio.
everything,
Like
Mysterio,
Mysterio.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I loved you as Mysterio. I could have said anything, but I should have just said, "Hey, what's up?" So I said something to him, but we head nodded. He gave me a head nod. I was
Yeah.
like, you know what, that's good enough for me. This other kid, he was like talking his ear off. He's like, "Oh, my, Mr. Gyllenhaal, what makes you like? What have you ever been to Rhode Island before? This is so amazing." I'm like, dude, I can't. I could be that guy, but I was like, I'm not gonna be that guy right now. It was also during a set, during a take. He was walking
Yeah.
past me he was walking past me, and it was so cool. I'm like, I can't believe I'm here right now with freaking Jake Gyllenhaal, because like him, Tom Cruise, Samuel Jackson, Stallone,
Yeah.
Brad Pitt, DiCaprio, some of my influences that I really like their performances. He's like up there. I love Jake, so it was super a blessing to be a part of him. And then Shyamalan with The Sixth Sense, Signs, Unbreakable, so many things. He was a really chill dude, and it was just an honor to be selected by him, to have that connection with him. Even so, uh the friend group that I was a part of in the movie, we actually, the movie's called Remain, and we have our own little chat called The Friends That Remain, so we end up still getting in contact with each other. My goal is to somehow, some way, when the premiere happens, my goal is to try to go to the premiere. Even though I'm not like officially invited, I'm going to try to work my way to go out there, because this is like the biggest, it's not that I had a speaking role, but it's like this is counts as a heavily featured background. So I'm hoping that one way or another I can get down there through connections that I have. But that's what I'm gonna be praying about for next year. But he was super cool. I met him actually again, M Night, at a book signing with Nicholas Sparks, because they were doing a book
Hmm.
tour, because the book had just come out. Um, and they both were at this bookshop. It was actually the Jeff Kenny, who's the author of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It was his.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was it was his bookstore. I actually got to meet him. He was there coincidentally, and it was really fun. But when I went to go see M Night, he remembered me, and along with this other friend of mine, and we took a picture with him. But one quick small story I'll share: when I'm on set the last day with Shyamalan, it was actually his birthday, and they were filming at night. It went till like 2 a.m. and everybody sang happy birthday to him, and it was like a crowd of like 200 plus background extras. And I had actually a couple friends of mine that I've done movies with were actually able to somehow get on this set. So I had like 4 or 5 guys on the set. It was really cool. When it comes out, we'll have to get together again, and I could talk
Yeah.
more about it.
100%.
But I knew that the night was coming to an end, so I grabbed my copy from my house of The Sixth Sense, and I went to M Night at the end.
Yes.
As soon as they called cut, I rushed, I beelined it. I grabbed this bag that I had with a Sharpie, and I said, "M Night, would you please do me the honor, and would you sign my copy of The Sixth Sense?" So I got a signed copy from him, and it
Oh my
was
God.
I got that
Yes.
and a picture. I can't. I technically I don't think I can post it yet. So
That's
I'm
fine.
waiting.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
When the movie comes out, you'll see it if you go on my Instagram. But it's super cool. But like all it takes is that leap and that one step. Just put yourself out there. For me, like I said, I prayed about it, and God blessed me with all these cool opportunities. And I think if you really have the desire and you put your mind to it, you can do it. It's cliche, but it's true. So I would just say, give it a shot. I encourage you. I'm gonna get you, me and you. We're gonna get on something soon. Whether it's the
I
Verdi
hope so.
set or through something through Boston Casting. They're gonna be filming this movie soon in the area with DiCaprio, which is really cool. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a
I've been trying to, get into that. It's Carthage Must Be Destroyed, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Him and Scorsese are executive producers. I think that's what I was referencing before.
Hmm.
When we talked about Scorsese a little bit.
Right.
Actually, before we wrap up, I know I just said I wanted to wrap up, but I actually forgot to ask you. There's something I really wanted to ask you about. I think it's called I Play Rocky. Is that the name of it? I've heard about it before I saw your resume. I don't really know anything about it. I know it's filmed in like New Jersey, so I don't know like what's the story there. I know if you have to go, we can wrap up. But
dude, I can go. I got like, so I could go on forever. I'm on your time, so however long you want to go. I don't know if people will watch this whole thing, but even if they do,
I think they will. It's
I
on
ramble a
Spotify.
lot.
People have in the background.
You'll at least get 50 views from my family alone. I'll send it to everybody. It's my first official podcast.
That's perfect.
I'm gonna look back at it. I'll probably cringe a little bit, say, yeah, I talked a little bit too long, but it is what it is. I Play Rocky. I'm a huge Rocky fan. My dad growing up doing Stallone. I love all of them. So Peter Farrelly, who directed Dumb and Dumber with his brother Bobby Farrelly, they were from Rhode Island, and they actually did so many things around here, and they've done movies like Green Book, Something About Mary, and they're now doing the Rocky. It's just Peter, not his. I think his brother might have a small part in it, but he's the one directing it. I heard about this through Instagram, and I found out that they were looking for people that had longer hair and they had like a 70s look to them. And this would be my second time playing someone from the 70s, because earlier in the year of this year I was actually in another movie, but I don't know if we could get to that if you want. But
we can talk about whatever you want. But yeah, go on.
This movie right now for the 70s look, I was like, oh, I know I'm capable of this. So I clicked. They were looking for boxing experience. I do Taekwondo, and I have kickboxing experience. So I was like, maybe that'll help. So I posted a couple pictures. I put a short little paragraph of that I have the skill to do boxing, and I just vented how much I love Rocky. And I learned from mistakes, because in the past they do a lot of movies that film around the area, like Connecticut, New Jersey. They don't want someone from Rhode Island to go there, because if they're filming in New Jersey, I think they want the local talent. So I put that I was from New Jersey, and in the email, because at the time they don't know I have family in New Jersey, and they don't know I could be staying with them. So it's like at that point, I just, instead of putting from Rhode Island, because I tried to get on the Steven Spielberg movie that was filming around here, and I really wanted to get in on that, but I couldn't. And I said, I bet you any money it's because I put I was from Rhode Island. So this time around, I put I was from New Jersey. I got an email over a month later, after I submitted for this. It was like a month and a half later. All of a sudden, I get it's actually a text message from a random number saying, "Hi, this is so and so from I Play Rocky. Our director, again, likes your look, and we really want you to be a 70s boxer for this movie." So I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, that's crazy. So I was like, dropped everything I was doing. I had just started my new job at the time at a local restaurant around here. So I was like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna get the time off for this. But I was like, I don't really want to call out because I just joined. So I was praying to God. I was like, please, if it's meant to be, may you make it work. So I was able to get 3 days off within the first 2 weeks of just being joined. It all worked out. My mom was kind and gracious enough to drive me down there, because I hate driving through New York and New Jersey. I can't stand it.
Just so yesterday.
We really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick. You went to the tree lighting?
Yeah, I went to that, and we're filming this House of Highlights thing at Warner Brothers. But yeah,
you gotta tell me either on this or after this. I want to hear more about that. But
I will.
With the Rocky thing, so I was so pumped. They went all the way down. They had me go down just for a fitting, so they don't know where I'm coming from. But they're like, "We need you at a fitting at 10 a.m." And I was like, "Thank God it wasn't super early, because we left hours in advance to beat the traffic." And I went to this little area in Jersey City. I'm going to try to tippy-toe around what I say, but we went to this area. It's like a film building where they film a bunch of other movies there. It was all hush-hush, like a lot of security. So I had to go in. I had to show my email. I had to show that I was a part of this thing, and they gave me a time to come back for my scheduled fitting. So I went into this process. They had me try on these like 70s clothes and outfits, and the whole thing was like less than a half an hour process. So I drove all the way to Jersey to be there for a half hour. So I was like, Ma, we're going to explore this area today. So I never been to New York, New Jersey. I went to go to the Staten Island Ferry. I saw the Statue of Liberty, made a whole day out of it. It was really fun. So
yeah,
very monumental. We went back the following week for 2 days. I rented a hotel, and we stayed there, and we filmed at this. It was like an abandoned warehouse that they have down in New Jersey, and they filmed these 70s boxing scenes with the kid who plays Rocky, a bunch of other cast members. And if you go on their Instagram, you can kind of feel for who they are. I'm just not going to say who
Yeah,
they are,
yeah,
but
yeah.
if you go and follow and look it up, you could see, because it's all out there. It's public knowledge. They're filming in that area. But I got to be a boxer with a small group of guys and all these like short muscle shirts and sweatpants and stuff. I didn't I didn't get to actually hit anybody, but I was doing like heavy bag work. I was doing pull ups. I have this scene where I'm going to be jump roping, and I think I can tell this story real quick, but if I can't and I get a message, we'll edit it out
Yeah,
through the
that's
video.
fine. Yeah.
But basically, I'm networking as best as I can. I'm talking with these guys who are from the area. Everyone's like, "You're from Rhode Island, all the way from Rhode Island. That's crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a long story, but it was cool because a lot of these guys were from New York, the Bronx, yeah, and all around." So they had this one scene where Anthony Ippolito is in the boxing ring, and we have this small setting. It's kind of like how if in the first Rocky movie, Mick's gym is set up. It's sort of like that. So I'm jump roping, and in the scene, I'm jump roping. I'm not the best at jump roping, like professionally. I kind of just do it. I don't jump rope enough. And there's this one guy he's like skipping his feet, and he's like
Yeah.
butterflying his feet. He's like really good at it. They were looking for someone more like that. So I'm already in this shot jump roping, and they don't want to really change it because then they'd have to go back and change a bunch of stuff. So it's like I get all of a sudden they stop production. The director Peter Farrelly looks at me and goes, "Hey, they go, can you go faster? Can you do that?" I'm like, I can try, but I'm like, yeah, I think so. So I go a little faster, and I'm jump roping. And I'm like, for my life depends on it, and I'm trying to whip this thing to make it look better, and I'm skipping my feet. Thank God I did not mess up. The take goes cut, and he goes, "What a comeback! Great job!" And the whole place is clapping for me,
That's
and
awesome.
and I felt kind of cringe because I'm like, it's my lack of skill issues getting this applause right now, but it was like kind of fun. And all of a sudden, the guys on the outside, because not everybody was in the scene, the other guys, the boxers that were waiting in the holding area, they're like, "Did somebody rap for the day?" Because they're like, they thought it was like at the end of the day when somebody raps, they clap and applaud. So they're like, what was all that about?" I'm like, "Oh, they just were applauding because I could jump rope for the scene and I didn't screw it up." So I was known as the jump rope guy for the rest of the day. I had these guys, this actor, PJ Bryan, he came up to me, gave me a double fist bump. He's like, "Great job, bro." And then at the end of the day, the kid Anthony Ippolito, he's like, "Yo," he's like, "Great job with the jump rope." So I'm like, I'm known as the jump rope guy now for that. So we'll see what happens. But it was super cool, and I got to meet Peter Farrelly. I took a picture with him, and I actually brought my
Very
copy.
nice.
I brought my copy of Dumb and Dumber, and I had him sign it. So it's like a thing. If it's a director that I really like and I love, I'm gonna take the time to try to do what I can to get a picture with them. It's frowned upon if you're going to do that. I don't recommend doing that during a take, during the regular day of filming. I specifically waited to the end of my time on set so that they couldn't say anything to me to reprimand me. And I politely ask if it's possible. And sometimes you're going to get like feedback. It's not always going to, you got to feel it out because not everyone's chill like that. But this dude was really
Yeah.
nice. We bonded that I was from Rhode Island. He's like, "Wow, you're all the way from Rhode Island?" He's like, I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, I love Dumb and Dumber. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I love Rocky. So when I found out you were directing, I was like, I had to do it." So it was super, super cool. And that was my whole basically time on set.
Are you building a collection of like DVDs or Blu-rays signed by directors? Is this something you have, or is it just a two?
Just the two. We'll see what else I can get. But maybe I can get a Scorsese. No, I doubt it. We'll see if that
I doubt
happens.
it, dude. That's literally my first thought when I read about Carthage Must Be Destroyed, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, why don't I
I've
bring my Goodfellas
Dude, I
as
hear, I hear,
Blu-ray?
I hear stories because I worked with people that worked on Killers of the Flower Moon,
Mm.
and they were telling me the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is the catering because the food on these sets sometimes really suck or really are bomb. Like Shyamalan had good food, but I hear that Scorsese has like prime food. I think the best food I had was when I did this time on the Gilded Age, that's a whole nother thing too. Maybe we might
Yeah,
have to do a part two.
yeah.
I
I
don't know.
think that's what I'm thinking here. I'm looking at the time like, oh, we do a part two sometime.
But yeah, dude, there's so much more I could talk about. I love doing this. So whenever you want, just let me know. We'll come back. I'll run it up again.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I think we're gonna wrap for the day. I mean, I usually don't go for an hour and a half, but it's not a problem at all, dude. This is like the
Oh,
time of
dude.
my life. This has been my favorite, I think, so far. This has
Oh,
been
dude.
really fun.
You're
I've
too
had so
kind.
much
I
fun.
appreciate it, bro.
All right, well, I appreciate. Actually, you know what? You should plug whatever you want to plug right now, Chris. Like anything you got.
If you guys want to follow me, feel free to follow my Instagram, Chris Arcuri official, and same thing on YouTube. I have that going on right now, and if you keep up to date with that, you'll see what I post. And make sure you follow this guy because we'll be collaborating again in the future, I for sure. And yeah, if you want to also, if you're in the Rhode Island area and you like comedy, I'm going to be doing in February. We're going to have a comedy sketch show through Sketch RI. So if you look up Sketch Rhode Island on Instagram, you'll find the page. It's run by Erica Atwell Cardona. I'm going to be a part of that group. It's my first time testing out performing in front of live people. We already did one show back last month, and it went really well. We had 2 sold out shows, and so looking forward to see what this year comes, so I can brush up on my acting.
And go see Ella McCay. It's
Go
out
see Ella
now. It'll
McCay.
be
Go
out
see Ella
now.
McCay. You'll see it. Let me know. I heard a lot of good things so far about it. I think I have at least a solid 10 seconds of screen time. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Thank you so much, bro, for having me. This has been a pleasure. And again, my apologies for making it go so long, but it's an
No,
honor.
this is great. Honestly, it's better. I love getting the most out of people. Some people are not into the podcasting thing, which I get. Like I can't. I don't want to judge anybody. I'm not going to name drop, but I had someone on that was giving me like one sentence answers. I'm like, this is like pulling teeth. But
Yeah, that's tough.
dude, you cooked. I mean, I hate to use the term, but you were cooking today. I had
Yeah,
a great time. I
thanks,
hope
bro.
you'll join me again very soon.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%. We'll be
yeah.
back.
And yeah, Chris, thank you. Thank you for all the listeners, all the watchers on YouTube and Spotify for joining us. I have been your host, Connor Lewis, signing off.